Gordon was cross. "Why should Henry have a new shape?" he grumbled. "A shape good enough for me is good enough for him. I mean, he goes gallivanting off the crew, leaving us to do his work, and comes back saying how happy he feels. It's disgraceful." And there's another thing. Henry whistles too much. No respectable engine ever whistles loudly in stations. I'm not saying it's wrong, but we just don't do it. Poor Henry didn't feel happy anymore.
"Never mind," whispered Percy. "I'm glad you're home again. I liked your whistling."
"Goodbye, Henry," called Gordon. "We are glad to have you with us again, but remember what I said." Later, Henry stopped at Edward's station.
"Hello, Henry," called Edward. "You look splendid. I was pleased to hear your happy whistle yesterday."
"Thank you, Edward," smiled Henry. "Shh, can you hear something?"
"It sounds like Gordon," said Edward. "And it ought to be Gordon, but Gordon never whistles like that."
But it was Gordon. He came rushing down the hill at a tremendous rate. He didn't look at Henry, and he didn't look at Edward. He just steamed right through the station and disappeared.
"Well,"
said Edward. "Well, it isn't wrong," chuckled Henry, "but we just don't do it." And he told Edward what Gordon had said. Meanwhile, Gordon screeched along the line. The noise was awful. At Knapford Station, everyone held their ears. Sir Topham Hatt held his ears too. "Take him away," he bellowed, "and stop that noise!" Poor Gordon puffed sadly away. But he wouldn't stop whistling until two fidders climbed up and knocked his whistle valve into place. Ouch! That night, Gordon slunk sadly into the shed. He was glad it was empty. "It isn't wrong," murmured Henry to no engine in particular, "but we just don't do it." No one mentioned whistles. The next day, Henry was feeling very excited. "I feel so well! I feel so well!" he sang. "Trickety-trock, trickety-trock," hummed his coaches. And then he saw some boys on a bridge. "Peep, peep, hello," he whistled. "Oh!" groaned Henry. The boys didn't wave and take his number. They thought it would be fun to drop stones on him instead.
"They've broken our glass! They've broken our glass!"
sobbed the coaches. The passengers weren't hurt, but they were very cross. "Call the police!" "No," said the driver. "Leave it to Henry and me." "What will you do?" they asked. "Can you keep a secret?" "Yes, yes, yes!" "Well then," said the driver, "Henry is going to sneeze on those boys." Lots of people were waiting at the station just before the bridge. They wanted to see what would happen. "Henry's got plenty of ashes," said the driver, "so please keep all windows shut as we pass the bridge. Now Henry is just as excited as we are. Aren't you, old fellow?" But Henry was more stuffed up than excited. Soon they could see the boys, and they all had stones. "Are you ready, Henry?" called his driver. "Sneeze hard when I tell you." "Now," he said. Achoo! "Well done, Henry," called his driver. Henry went home, hoping that next time he saw Gordon or the boys, they would have learned not to be so mean.